Hold on. Sorry. Take it. Okay, ladder. See it?
All right. Thank you very much. Can we put our hands together for LXS Entertainment? They've been entertaining us since we got in here this morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. It's good to see you all. This is Gender and Inclusion Summit 2025. Can you hear me turn to your neighbor and say, are you happy to be here today? What was your response? They're excited? Okay, awesome. We have a packed day. I don't know if you have the agenda yet, but if you've seen it, you can tell that we have a packed day ahead of us this morning, and we're trying to catch up as fast as we can. So this is Gender and Inclusion Summit 2025, and over the next 2 days, we will explore bold ideas, lived experiences, and innovative solutions to make inclusion a reality in our societies. That's what we are here about. When I say the word inclusion, what comes to your mind? Can we just do an activity real quick? When I say inclusion, just shout to me what comes to your mind. What does inclusion mean to you? Everyone participating, all right? Can I hear other takes on what inclusion means? Co-designing, okay. I'm not hearing anything from this side of the room. I can hear it. No more. No discrimination. I like that. I like that. Inclusion, we can term it in different ways, but at the end of the day, we're talking about ensuring that there is equity in our society and every member of the society is included. Awesome. So very quickly, just to remind you of the theme for this year's summit, the theme is New Voices and New Approaches for Accelerating an Inclusive Society. All right, and I hope that throughout the course of the next 2 days, you will participate, attend the sessions, let your voice be heard, right? It's about new voices and new approaches. So if you've got great ideas, this is the right place to share it. My name is Bukola Shaba, and I'll be one of your hosts for the next 2 days at this summit. I have a co-host who is on his way, so you're going to meet him very shortly. All right, at this time, we're going to go straight to the first agenda item, which is a youth town hall. How many people are youths in the house? Okay, I see your hands. Nice. Do we have some adults? These days in Nigeria, when you say youth, even 60-year-olds want to join us. All right. All right, are we feeling youthful this morning? Awesome. All right, so we're going to get started. So we're discussing youth survival, hustle, and aspiration. Is there really a Nigerian dream? This is one question I would like to know the answer to. Is there really a Nigerian dream? And to facilitate this session, I'm going to invite the moderators, and they will in turn invite their panelists. Please help me welcome Adana Omeye, Research Economist at Policy Innovation Center. Is she here? Oh, she's coming. Can we please put our hands together for her as she comes? Okay. And to join Adana, we have, okay, can we have you move to the middle, please? Thank you. And to join Adana, we have Prince Dirisu. Please put your hands together for Prince Dirisu from Nile University. All right. Awesome. And they would, so Adana and Prince, please introduce your panelists and bring them up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adana Omeye, and I have my co-moderator here.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dirisu Prince, and today we are here to discuss.
So I believe we all are happy about this session, and most especially about Gender and Inclusion Summit as a whole, because I'm excited to, especially if this is your first time coming to Gender and Inclusion Summit. So welcome once again. So the title of this youth session is Youth Survival, Hustle and Aspiration. Is there really a Nigerian dream? So the concept around this topic is that we have so many youths in our country, people that are in the informal sector, people that have traveled out of the country because they want to jabba, as we all know, people that are not even doing anything in particular, and then people in the attention economy. What do I mean? People that are so enthusiastic about making it because they see people online making it. So this drives us to the question is there really a Nigerian dream? Do we really have to rely on government for everything that we need to do? Or where do youths have to actually play a role in this?
So, like she has said, we are here today to discuss youth survival, hustle. Is there really a Nigerian dream? Most Nigerians nowadays, they think about the Nigerian dream. They think about immigration, flashy life. So what we're really here is to do is to see how from this town hall meeting we can get any platforms, suggestions, ideas, basically things to help us understand how to progress forward.
And without wasting further time, I would like to call on our first panelist, Gideon Ekong, a graduate from Nile University. Please let's give him a round of applause as he comes up. Then secondly, Ayonwola Ajala, a student at Nile University as well, and also an intern at Policy Innovation Center. Please can we clap for them? Thank you. Then lastly, for the first panel session, we'll call on Faith Lawrence, also a student, but also an intern at Policy Innovation Center. Thank you. So, this is really going to be an interactive session, but for the time we would like to hear from the youth what they really think about this Nigerian dream. We keep hearing Nigerian dream, so what is the concept behind it? So thank you all for joining us for this panel session, and I believe it's going to be a great one. So I would like to start with you, Ayo, right? So to you, do you think there is something like a Nigerian dream? Or if there's none, because many youths have actually reached out to many youths, and the response they give me is that they don't really think there's a Nigerian dream. So do you really think there's a Nigerian dream? And if there's none, is there a Nigeria that you envision for yourself?
Okay, so personally, I don't think there's a Nigerian dream, but there is a Nigeria I envision for myself. A Nigeria where there is awareness, a Nigeria where there is safety. The government actually supplies to all our needs. Everybody I don't need to feel like I have to leave the country to make it in life. I can stay in my homeland and I am rest assured that I will make it in life. That is Nigeria I envision.
That's a beautiful one. Can we hear from you, Faith?
The idea of a Nigerian dream is a very controversial topic because an average Nigerian truly doesn't believe that there is a Nigerian dream. So let's look at the American dream. The American dream started from Martin Luther King, where he had a dream about how America should look like a place without social classes, racism, and everything. So for me, a Nigerian dream is not only about what my government can do for me, it's my ability to know that I can impact my country to actually benefit not only me but the people in it. So a Nigerian dream to me would mean that so a Nigerian dream to me would mean that I believe in my country, okay? And most people now, for example, the Japa trend, most people do not believe in the country and so they want to leave it to find solace in another place that they feel will benefit them. America built America. So we Nigerians, we should build our country instead of waiting for other people to actually build it up for us.
And to you, Mr. Gideon, from your perspective, what is standing in the way of young Nigerians who want to succeed and create real change? Could it be family expectations, economic hardship, passion? But from your perspective, what do you think is standing in the way of young Nigerians who want to succeed?
Okay, that's loud. Are there youth in the house? Are there any youth? If you're a youth, can you just wave your hand? I want to see who we're speaking to. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Gideon Ekong. Um, I was preparing to answer what the Nigerian dream is, but I guess they didn't ask me. Um, I was asked obstacles to achieving the Nigerian dream. You mentioned family, pressure. I think these are all valid, but what I would say to me is the biggest obstacle to achieving the Nigerian dream is a lack of what I call a burning vision or a burning desire. When I was preparing to come on this panel, I asked my good friend ChatGPT, what is the Nigerian dream? And ChatGPT told me it is the ability to make it despite the various barriers that you face. And I asked ChatGPT, okay, give me people that embody Nigerian dream. And he gave me a list. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, we know she's the first lady to be the chair of the World Trade Organization. In sports, we have Tobi Amusan. She's the world record holder for the 100-meter hurdles. We have Victor Osimhen, a popular footballer we all know that grew up in Lagos. We have Tunde Onakoya, who is a very popular person. And what these people have in common is they each had a burning desire to make it, despite what they faced. So I think we're used to blaming the government, we're used to blaming our family pressure, but actually, I feel the biggest obstacle to achieving the Nigerian dream is a lack of a burning vision inside. If we, the youth, have direction and goals and a vision, then I don't think any governmental setbacks or family pressure can actually prevent us from achieving this so-called Nigerian dream. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for that contribution.
Thank you so much, Gideon, for that brilliant answer. So I'll throw this question open to anyone that is willing to answer it. So my question is, in your journey towards achieving your aspirations, because I believe we all have aspirations, not just personal, but things we would like to do to impact our community and our country as a whole. So in your journey of trying to be someone that makes impact in the community, what gaps have you encountered or challenges? What challenges have you actually encountered that stopped you from actually moving forward or actually having a second thought about doing what you really want to do for your community? Anyone is open to answer that.
Okay, so I would say for me, patience. So for a very long time, I always felt that if I wanted to try something new, the moment I tried, I should get my results with immediate effect, right? But as time has passed and as I have grown, I have come to realize that good things take time. So if I want to make a good thing out of myself, I would have to wait it out and give it my all, not just wait passively. During my duration of waiting, I would continue to put in the work and steady, consistent. Yeah.
Any other person?
Yeah, sorry, can I get the question again?
So I said, in your journey of trying to make impact in your community, maybe you want to be an engineer and then you want to provide stable electricity for your community. How far have you actually gone in this dream? Are there things that you've actually encountered that has been a problem for you in your journey as a student working towards being a great person in future?
Okay. So, I recently just graduated, or I'm about to graduate, either way. So, I'm unfortunately not so far in my journey. But what I would say I can identify is there is a gap in a progressive pathway for aspiring, um, like the youth who are aspiring to make a difference. There isn't a structure, if I can term it that way, to help us, have platforms that we can actually make differences. What do I mean? We have to figure out ourselves how to make a change, as opposed to you finish school, there is a pathway that, okay, if you finish school, you join this company, you intern here for a while. If these processes were made available and were more frequent, then I believe that more youth would have more opportunities to make a change in their communities.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. All right. So we would round up this first session here because of time. I know we all are really learning so much, but we will have to continue because of time constraints. So thank you all, Ayo, Faith, and Gideon for joining us for this panel session. Please let's give them a round of applause as they walk down the stage. So for the second session, which is going to be very interesting because we are not just going to be talking about the problems that youths are actually encountering, we are also going to talk about the opportunities.
Apologies. We have to make a quick announcement, everyone. The session will resume very shortly. Just to let you know that there are two other sessions happening simultaneously, right? If you want to stay in the youth session, that's fine. You can stay here. But just know that there are two other sessions happening right outside, right? Give me a sec. So one is happening at Obecha A and B. It's bridging the disability gap, opportunities for workplace inclusion in Nigeria. So if you'd like to hear more about that, about what is happening, with bridging the gap with disability in Nigeria, you might want to head out to Obecha A and B. And at Acacia A and B, there is the Men's Roundtable, Building Inclusive Households Together, right? And that's anchored by the Behavioral Insight Team at Policy Innovation Center. So please, if you'd like to attend any of those sessions, make your way out. For those in the lobby, if you can hear me, please just note that there are two sessions happening right around you, and there is one in the main hall. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ma. So now we'll be calling on our next panelists to join us for this session. So this session is majorly aimed at opportunities. So without wasting time, I'll call on our first speaker, Kwaji, Mr. Kwaji, from NESG, an associate at NESG. Please let's clap for him as he comes off the stage. Thank you so much. And we also have Fumilayo, Ms. Fumilayo, founder of Human and Social Sustainability Network Africa. Fumilayo, thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause. Fumilayo, can you walk up the stage, please? Thank you. Then we have the Executive Director of I Lead Africa, Yusuf Abiodun. Mr. Yusuf, thank you so much. Then lastly, we have Mrs. Mrs. Lillian Njeri. Thank you. Youth Partnership and Admin Officer, Transform Health Coalition, Kenya.
Sorry, it's fine. Do not touch.
Okay.
So while I walk up the stage, I would like to make a brief introduction about what this session is all about. So this session is majorly aimed at talking about the opportunities that youths can get, how they can actually get access to opportunities. And then that would be it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Kwaji.
So, thank you all for coming here today to be on this town hall meeting. So, the first question I would like to ask to both Mr. Yusuf and Mr. Kwaji. There are young people nowadays very passionate about their dreams, but they cannot easily navigate and identify opportunities. So, to such people, what practical ways can they position themselves to take advantage of these opportunities? So would you like? So either of you.
Hello?
Okay, go on.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for that questions. The first thing that we need to do as young people that I believe is very necessary for us is to first work on our mindset. There's a saying that if you enter this room and you look for the opportunity, or what you have in mind is to actually get the opportunity, you are going to see it. And at the same time, if you come to this room and you believe that it's going to be negative, there's no way you can see possibility side of it. So it's very important for us as young people to work on our mindset, have the mind of getting the opportunity in Nigeria, see Nigeria as a country that can work for you, not a country that work for some, and it's disadvantage for some. So when we work on the mindset, then you get prepared for the opportunity. It's very important for us as young people. You don't wait for the opportunity to come. You get prepared for it and you look for it. So, and the third one is, thank God we have access to the digital technology, most especially the social media. I mean, it's a great way, it's a great platform to position yourself for the opportunity, both local and global opportunity. I used to tell people, the scholarship you are actually looking for, the global conference you are submitting the application for, have this at the back of your mind. They don't know what you do here in your country. You only submit maybe a written application. But to give them an evidence that you deserve that opportunity, you need to have a working social media platform. That is the evidence of the work. Beyond posting your lifestyle, beyond posting the other stuff, you need to leverage on the media to talk about the work that you do. Talk about your work. I mean, it has worked for me in many ways. I've seen many times that I submitted the application for a global opportunity. And there's a particular one I submitted, I think in 2023, it's a Club de Madrid opportunity. And there was a tie between my application and one youth commissioner in Oyo State. But during the course of that process, I know they get to my social media platform, and when we are having a one-on-one discussion, though directly they don't tell me that, oh, this is, but when they get to my platform, they see the kind of work I've done in youth leadership and political participation, and they cannot deny the fact that this is what they are looking for. So, and that is a sign that When you leverage on the media, you post about your work, you talk about yourself, and think beyond the opportunity within you. You know, you are not using social media for your friend, for the comment, for the likes. You are using it for the fact that the people that don't know what you do, when they get to your page, should be able to speak for you. You should be able to say one or three things about what you are into. So I think if we can leverage on that, it's going to be great. And of course, before I wind up, it's important to build a networking system that works for you and the mentorship system. You know, you have people on whatever field you want to choose, or whatever area you want to work on. There are some people that have been working in that aspect and they are successful. So you can look for someone among them and choose the person as your mentor. You know, it can guide you through on so many ways. You can learn from them. You can build the system that work for them and model after it. And finally, the system that we are building today is not only for ourselves. We should think about how we can create a system that not only work for you, but working for other young people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that insightful contribution.
Okay. Can you hear me? All right. Good morning. So before I answer the question, I think it is important that I define the Nigerian dream from my own perspective. So I think the Nigerian dream, for it to make sense for the average youth, it should be around 5 components. The first is dignity. I think the Nigerian youth should thrive in respect. The Nigerian youth should have access to basic needs and opportunity. And then the second component that would make sense for the Nigerian youth is that it should be around resilience. We have about 90% of the Nigerian youth who are into the informal sector. I think it shows that the Nigerian youth are resilient. They just need a working system that rewards hard work. And I think the third aspect is equity. Equity is quite important because I should have access to some opportunities, not because I come from a particular ethnicity, not because I have a surname or I belong to a particular religion, but first because I am Nigerian and also because I'm human. And I think the fourth aspect should be around aspiration. I think it is important to create a system that can accommodate the dream of the average young people. We should not be scared to have big dreams. We should not be scared to make bold decisions. And then the last aspect is mobility. Mobility. So when you look at the American dream, when you also look at the Chinese dream, I think one thing is common, that they reward hard work. They have a high mobility that is largely around opportunities. So in a nutshell, I think the Nigerian dream should be around dignity, resilience, equity, aspiration, and upward mobility. And then to answer your question around how to identify opportunities, I think 2 important principles that I would share from a personal point of view. The first would be personal development. I think personal development is very key. So when we talk about personal development, we're not just talking about gaining knowledge or maybe reading books. But I think the 2 most important aspects around personal development are building character and also being able to build a very global mindset, a mindset that is beyond Nigeria. Even though we're talking about Nigeria, I think we should have a mindset that is beyond Nigeria, so that once you are building yourself, you're not just building yourself for the Nigerian system, but you're building yourself for the global system. And then the second aspect is mentorship. Just to add to what the first speaker had said, I think mentorship is very important because you gain 3 things from a mentor. The first thing is experience, right? You also get exposure, and then the last is expertise. And to add to the 3, I think the most important is network. You get network, or you have access to your mentor's network, which is very important in identifying opportunities. And to just add to the second, and just because of time, I think putting God first too is very important. I know it's not a very common thing, but I think because of that God advantage, because one thing with putting God first is it gives you access to direction, which is very important. That discernment too, because in identifying opportunities, you need the eyes that see, you need the ear that hears, and also the mind that can tell you that, okay, this is what I'm going into, so that it will guide your path. So let me just stop here.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kwaji. Thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf, for that brilliant answer. I really learned a lot from it. So the last question, and because of time, we'll have to shorten how we'll give our response to this. So to Ms. Fumilayo and Ms. Lillian, I know you two, and you two inspire me when it comes to gender inclusivity and inclusion, equity, gender equity, and then inclusion. So my question is, when it comes to progress, making progress in the nation, what do you think about the problem of GBV and some societal barriers, because we have social norms in our community that actually have an effect on people, young people, on how they think and their mindsets. So do you think social norms and societal barriers can actually be a problem to progressive growth, and how youth can actually partake in the progress of the country? So anyone can go first.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So for me, I would say that when you want to talk about a progressive nation, you have to look to her people, right? You have to look at the quality of lives they live and the standard of life that they live. When we think about the average Nigerian and how they are able to afford daily necessities, with the rising inflation rates, the deterioration of the naira value, purchasing power parity definitely reduces. And some years ago, we saw that World Bank reported less than $1, $2 as the average spend on daily food. And I'm sure that with the way the country has, been experiencing steady inflation, that cost would have definitely reduced. Every day when I go out, I see so many people on the road begging for alms, and then it raises the question that, are we really making progress? When opportunities come into the country, does it get to the bottom of the ladder? Does it get to those at the bottom of the pyramid? Talking about societal barriers, recently I was doing a research, and the child marriage portal reported that in Nigeria, as high as 45%, child marriage still persists in rural areas, and 56% of this is amongst poorer households. And so if we're talking about people not being able to afford basic necessities, and more people plunge into the vicious cycle of poverty, then it means that there is a higher risk of, families giving out their children in forced marriages, or practicing some of these harmful customs that take us way back. And I want to paint a scenario. Imagine if you're going from Lugbe to Buari, and when you get to, say, half of the journey, you get a notification that everybody have to turn back to Lugbe before we go on the journey. First of all, you would have spent more time on the road and more money to transport yourself. And that is how it is that when we are taking one step forward as a nation, and there is a retrogressive policy or practice that is existing somewhere, we are taking us 3 steps back, costing us a lot of money and a lot of progress or productivity that we could have gained by doing what we're supposed to do as a nation.
Yeah.
when I was writing a paper on digital governance and feminism, what I saw was that the digital gender gap is costing low and middle income countries as much as 120 billion annually. And we're not close to closing that gender gap. What are we doing in terms of ensuring gender responsive digital strategies and action plans to ensure that, as we are innovating and coming up with new digital solutions to make our lives faster and easier, we are not leaving vulnerable people behind. We're not leaving people with disabilities behind. We're not leaving those at the bottom of the cadre behind. I'm sure that your daily lives, you're not used to seeing people that are experiencing some of these very hard realities. But the truth is, if you go to close to Ogun State here, you think that, Ogun State is close to Lagos, but there are still so many girls backing babies at the age of 15. And then it raises the question as to what is the government doing for these people? Yeah. Where are the expenses being, channeled? Talking about gender responsive budgeting, when we create plans to improve a system, how much of that budget is gender responsive, is channeled toward ensuring that we are taking care of those that have the tendency to be overlooked or left behind? So yes, there is still a lot of discussions to be going on. And to the people in the room here, there's a lot of things that you can do in personal capacity and even in the different organizations that you work to complement the efforts that the government is doing and to also fill the gaps that exist. So I'll hand over to my second speaker now to share her opinion.
Thank you so much, Fumilayo. Miss Lillian, please. I would really appreciate you speaking in 1 minute. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lillian Jerimbuthi. I've come all the way from East Africa, Nairobi, Kenya. And the topic of discussion today is very personal for me. We say the personal is political and the political is personal. When we're talking about gender-based violence, social norms, we're not only talking about what's happening in Nigeria, in West Africa across, but we're also looking at it from a global perspective. According to the United Nations Women, we say 1 in every 3 women has experienced gender-based violence. I come from a lineage of women who've experienced gender-based violence from my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and my mom, and I decided that road will end with me. As a young person, a 27-year-old who's worked across Africa and beyond with young people, I always say that charity begins at home. And we're looking at what level of personal social responsibility you can play in the long run. It begins with what you can do individually and then extend the arm by holding hands, again, in your community, in your society, be it your friends, your colleagues, your siblings, and so on. So it's more of a community responsibility on how we get to tackle that, and also how far along it extends in terms of effects, or rather the post-GBV, even that transcends across borders among fellow young people. If I could just maybe circle back when you're talking about youth survival, youth aspiration, and the youth hustle, it's always imperative for me to bring in the perspective of the African dream. Is there really an African dream? I would say yes. I am a living testimony of what an 8-letter word can actually take you, and that is the term audacity. And I like to share it with every single person, every space that I walk into, because I keep on telling people you have to be shameless in the pursuit of your wildest dreams. We say shame doesn't pay bills. And the worst that you can get, whether when you're shooting shots out there, whether you're sending those cold emails, cold messages, and so on, the worst that you can get is either a no or someone may be ignoring you. But the best outcome is that someone may give you a shot for you placing and putting yourself in the right rooms and in the right spaces. So we as young people, we as a nation, as an African continent, I say Africa is a country by challenging a book by Dipo Faloyin, and it's called Africa is Not a Country, because what happens in Kenya is what actually is happening in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Madagascar, and all that. It's only the colonialists that came with the patterned borders. But to be honest, everything that happens in one African country, it's ideally what's playing out in other African countries. So in a nutshell, as you're walking in this room in the next 2 days, please bear in mind and have this spirit with you that audacity will take you places, number one. And then two, as an individual first, even before we start calling out the government, we all have an individual social responsibility to play in the communities that we are in. And last but not least, whether you're a young person, whether you are a Gen X, a baby boomer, a millennial, all is not yet lost, and we can always rise above all.
Everyone for this panel session. I really learned a lot, and I believe we also learned a lot because this also tells us that we're not just living in a country without dream. We have dreams. We have to dream. Even if there is no dream, even if we don't see the hope, we should see the hope for ourselves and contribute to our community. And our policymakers also have a role to play. So thank you so much all for listening. So yeah.
Thank you very much to our moderator and panelists. Very important conversation on youth survival, hustle, and aspirations is photographs. But we have a very quick announcement to make to all of our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First, it's a security announcement. We want to ask that you please do not leave your belongings unattended. All right, so if you have to go out, go to the bathroom, or join any of the breakout sessions, make sure you leave with your belongings. And I'm talking your handbags, your telephones, and all of that. Please do not leave your belongings unattended. And secondly, if you're looking for a key fob, that's your car keys, one has been found. So please locate the floor manager, Mr. Taiwo Israel. You have to let us know what the car make is and all of that before we ascertain that it is yours, all right? So if you're looking for a key fob, kindly meet the floor manager. We're going to switch gears now to yet another panel session for the next 10 minutes before we get things started. Thank you very much.
So we are not yet done with our youth town hall session, actually. So we still have a guest speaker that will be talking to us, a brief speech from our guest speaker. Please, can we welcome Mrs. Nafisa? Thank you so much. We also have another guest speaker, Mr. Emmanuel Mimshak. Mr. Emmanuel Mimshak, are you here with us? Thank you so much. Welcome. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, all right. Thank you, sir, for joining us for this session. Thank you also, ma'am, for being here. So we would like to make it as brief as possible. So we would like you to share more like your experience and then a word of encouragement on how youth can actually go further in their aspiration. Because I got to find out when I was working on this topic that many youths in our country, we have several youths in this country, people that have dreams and then are working towards it, people that are already working towards their dream, successful but are outside the country, people that do not have dreams, or perhaps they have the dreams but then they do not know how to navigate it. So, can you tell us how youth can actually go further in what they think their dream is, how they can actually achieve their dream, and then the way forward for them? We would like to go with you, Mr. Emmanuel. Yes, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thanks to the organizers for having me here. I always consider it an honor to have an opportunity to share, and thank you for the incredible question. So, for me, growing up was really hard. We grew up poor, and like many Nigerians, my vision was to hustle hard enough to leave the country. And so the hustle began with one singular goal. But then in going through that process, I started thinking about what more can I have, or what more can I do beyond just hustling to leave the country? Is there something bigger? Could there be something more? And some of the things that really shaped my mindset were mentors. Growing up, I had two very critical mentors that began to, these are not evenly distributed, but talent is. And his goal at the time was to build platforms to help everyday Nigerians climb to the highest level of success. And with him, we built something called Ventures Platform. I'm sure some of you know it. It's one of the most active early-stage investment platforms on the continent. And that began to help me also realize that everyday young Nigerians could have solutions. Today, I work with a company called Telesofters, and one of the key things that we do is building platforms where everyday Nigerians in Nigeria can acquire skills and work anywhere in the world. One of the other things we're doing is working with local slums and rural communities to build role models for young people to see that there is a future and there's a possibility. And the last thing I want to say is there is a Nigerian dream, but the dream isn't something that's going to be handed to us. The Nigerian dream is one that we have to design. And it's a design that has to involve building platforms where everyday people can aspire, can dream, and can reach for the goal that they have in their hearts. So it is no more enough for us to think about leaving the country. I think it's high time for us who are here to begin to build platforms that allow every other person.
Thank you so much. Ma'am Nafisa, over to you, ma'am.
All right. Hello? Can you hear me? American. Okay, yeah, I can definitely hear myself. So, good morning, everyone, and speaking to the young people in Africa. My name is Nafisa. I currently here with the scope across Africa, and I also serve as the NALAFEM envoy. My background growing up, my first awareness 4, 5, 6, and I was being driven in a car to school. And I was being driven in a car to school. And we stopped at a traffic light, and then I was looking outside the window, and I saw these kids. They were hawking, I think they were hawking something, maybe like oranges or basically trade. They were just trading on the streets. And at that very young age, I was asking myself, why am I going to school? Awareness, that hyper focus on social justice issues, especially around my environment where I grew up, has fanned or created, I don't want to say a hunger, but a passion for helping people. So, I'm kind of like, how do I put this? Grew up in Port Harcourt, stayed in Lagos, Kebbi, did NYC, pretty much been around most of the country. So I'm very, very familiar and comfortable with different parts of Nigeria. And I remember when I wanted to to go into university, and they said, you should do mass communication, you like asking questions and speaking in public. And I said, no, I wanted to do law. And why did I want to do law? Because at that point in time, there wasn't any international development or public policy courses in the Nigerian curriculum. And I didn't know what that was going to look like, but I wanted to use policy to help people. The end goal was that I wanted to be able to use the skills I had to help people. And, that has translated into an incredibly amazing journey over the past 10 years. And, a lot of people say this, right? But the future really is indeed African. We are literally the most populous continent. And where are all those young people going to go, right? leveraging on what my colleague has said here on the panel, that we need to have a Nigerian dream, we need to have an African dream, but that dream is not going to be one that is given to us. It's one that we have to we have to have an inclusive process for designing intentionally. Nothing happens by accident, right? Nothing sustainable and nothing great happens by accident. Look at the process of creating the American Constitution and how inclusive and thorough that process was. So young people, if there is any responsibility, that I say that we need to create the community and the platforms, and the ecosystem also needs to encourage young people to collaboratively design that Nigerian dream, because that Nigerian dream that we design for the young people will eventually become the Nigerian dream that we will have for the country. And then when you now think about, the African continent, like I said, the future is Africa. Really, the African dream should not be or the Nigerian dream should not be to Japa. It's to be able to work from where you are, export your talent however you like it, and live in your country. Do you understand? Because look at what the digital economy and the creative economy has opened up in the last decade with technology and AI. Now we're having conversations, different countries are having conversations. I was at a round table on Monday with the Cabo Verde government and talking about how they want to train 500 young women, 500 girls in AI and coding skills, and how they want to increase those agreements between the two countries. And we don't want to leave our continent, we want to build our continent. How do we build our continent and make sure that our skills are globally, relevant? And we are not just consumers. We create the future, we create the technology, we create the AI for the African markets. Our future is incredibly bright, but we can't do that without intentionally coming to the table and saying, as a unit, as a cohort, without religion or the public sector, whichever sectors that exist in society, religious, creative, is to support young people to create that vision, because that's the vision that will eventually drive the country to a sustainable and prosperous future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that contribution. So, in essence, we were talking about basically young people we have to strive for it, not something that can come by accident, like you said.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So that would be all for this session. Thank you all for listening. And I believe you all learned, because I did. Thank you. To hear your thoughts on this session later on, please take a moment to provide your feedback on this session using any of the following options. Scan the QR code given to you by the research assistants, use the digital screen in the foyer, and then use the research assistant's tablets. Any of these can actually serve for you. Thank you so much.
Be happy now.
Please let's put our hands together for LXS Entertainment. That was a beautiful rendition. Thank you very much. Not to worry, we'll still have a lot more during the course of this program. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, our royal fathers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and my honor to welcome you to Africa's largest gathering on gender and inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, I want to welcome you to the Gender and Inclusion Summit 2025. Please put your hands together for yourselves. We're making it here today. It is such a beautiful day, and as Alexa said earlier on, do not worry, be happy, because I promise you that the conversations that will happen here today, tomorrow, will set the tone for a more inclusive society, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa at large. My name is Kayode Okikyolu, gentleman of the press. I'm a news anchor at Channels Television, and I'm honored to be here with this beautiful woman.
Thanks, Kayode. My name is Bukola Shaba.
Yeah.
I'm not gentlewoman of the press.
We can borrow you that for today.
Awesome. Thank you, Kayode.
Absolutely. Over the course of the next 2 days, we can promise you one thing, that this event will be well attended. The conversations will be stimulating. Just to give you a peek, we have over 100 speakers that will be stepping up here during the course of this program. Thousands of participants, both physically and virtually. We have over 25 plus sessions and so much more. But to get things started, we like to pay attention to security. So I want to give you some few security tips, and I'd like to welcome for that the head of safety management, Mr. Saleh Mohammed. Let's put our hands together for him as he gives us quick security tips.
Good morning, participants. You are welcome to Abuja Continental Hotel. Saleh Mohammed is my name. For your safety and security, we deem it necessary to tell you the protocols as regards the use of this hall, so that from beginning till the end of the program, we will not record any incident. However, before I go further, if there is a need for you to use the convenience, it is very easy to locate. We have two conveniences. Those who would like to use these two entrance doors, turn to the left. As you proceed further, you see one red to the left. As you proceed further, you see one red fire extinguisher behind the LKCC office. As you go to that area, you see two doors closer to each other. The door to the left-hand side is for the female convenience, while the door to the right-hand side is for the male convenience. Please, you are advised to always look before you enter, so that you will not find yourself in a wrong destination. Also, the other convenience, if you are using the last door there, when you pass through, turn to the right, you see the scanning machine. Behind the scanning machine is the convenience, just like the description.